first of 3 community sessions this year, where we'll be talking about our inclusive community. This is a reminder, since you, unlike me, may not be living, eating, and breathing the strategic plan every day. As you know, we have done a lot of work with the community on our mission statement to really revamp it to be more appropriate for who we are and where we want to be as a leader. We've also, for the first time to my knowledge, really solidified our core values as a community. And they are respect, community, inclusion, innovation, and achievement. I think we can all get behind those as being incredibly important for WPI. This is a reminder of our goals, so we'll be talking about our inclusive community today and really about how we live our mission values, how we diversify our faculty and staff, and enhance employee development. And we also have a strong focus on student well-being, access and affordability, and purpose-driven education and research. And like I said, we will be hearing from those folks in a couple weeks. How did we get here? So as a reminder, we've been at this for a while. We started this process in 2019, and then we had this lovely little event called COVID that came in and took our focus away from building this strategic plan, and we really had to focus down on that. We got back into these efforts in the fall of 2020 and relaunched the teams in the spring of 2021 to really help us figure out what those plans are, what should we be doing. They did a ton of research to understand what our community needs were and really where we wanted to be aspirationally. And then from that time until the fall of 2021, we developed a plan and sent that out to the community and shared that widely and got feedback, and then solidified that with the Board of Trustees at the end of October of 2021. And we started in earnest in our implementation teams in November of last year, which was only a few months ago. So keep that in mind when you see how much work your colleagues have been doing, and some of you in this room. We also instituted a new investment process as part of our strategic plan, and we focused the first year because of the needs of the community on student support and success. And so that included some investments in student well-being and access, affordability, increase in accessibility for students, and also student experience, and a bit of a pilot on how we could potentially get into the stackable credential space as a university. These are your team leads for the 8 teams that we have working on the 3 themes. And so please feel free to contact them and reach out if these are things that you're interested in knowing more about or getting involved in. And now you will be the first to see the unveiling of our strategic plan.
Lead with Purpose. The Strategic Plan for Worcester Polytechnic Institute.
Approved by the Board of Trustees in October of 2021, the Strategic Plan for WPI fuses our why with our core values.
To respond to opportunities and challenges thoughtfully and with a strong grounding in our founding principles of theory and practice.
More than 100 faculty and staff participated in the planning, and more than 640 community members provided feedback to early drafts,
helping us refine and improve to better embody our past, present, and future, and strengthen our focus across 3 broad areas:
Student well-being, access and affordability, purpose-driven education and research, and our inclusive community.
To lead with purpose, we must directly address issues of student well-being, access, and affordability, and commit to building a thriving community of diverse learners and doers.
To lead with purpose, we must revolutionize what it means to be a successful STEM professional.
Enhance our project-based, interdisciplinary approach to their development, and build a strong research infrastructure to support their success.
To lead with purpose, we must look inward to create a culture of inclusion, belonging, well-being, and respect that draws diverse minds and provides the support necessary for all to thrive.
To lead with purpose, we must always strive to ensure that our work as scientists and engineers, business leaders and humanists has a beneficial impact on people, society, and the planet.
These goals are at the heart of this strategic plan.
The landscape of higher education is increasingly dynamic and quickly evolving. The need to meet global, civic, and human challenges is urgent.
And requires committed STEM professionals with broad intellectual foundations that embrace more diverse perspectives to maximize positive impact.
This critical moment requires the distinctive, interdisciplinary, project-based approach to problem solving for which WPI is known.
Join us
To transform lives.
Turn knowledge into action.
To confront the world's challenges.
And revolutionize STEM.
As together we
Lead with purpose.
Now I'd like to introduce Deborah Jackson and Chris Shagman, who are our leads for Sustainable Inclusive Excellence.
Good afternoon. It's a delight to have an opportunity to talk to you about the work that we've been doing with Sustainable Inclusive Excellence. I'm so delighted that some of you are here live. So many of the team members of our SIE team who have not thought it robbery to show up and be here today. So we couldn't do this by ourselves. Chris and I just have the opportunity to be in front of you. So getting started, this is our team. It's a large team, but we're excited, and what it represents is inclusion partners across the entire university, that every division, every department has representation so that we can do the work of sustainable inclusive excellence. This is something that you cannot mandate from top down and have it filter through the organization. No, each of us have to have a part in this so that we make this work our lifeblood and beat. And so that's what this team has been doing. This is our picture. Aren't we gorgeous? You know, we're still kind of in this hybrid moment, but these are some of our team members. I don't know how many attempts it took for us all to have eyes open and look halfway decent, but there we are. So let me get into our planned goals. Our goals, we want to build an inclusive campus culture. I mean, one of the things that is so heartbreaking to me as someone who is serving at WPI is to hear some of our students talk about the fact that they don't feel included, that they don't feel like this is a welcoming place and that they're part of it. And so we want to change that to ensure that each of our departments and our divisions have inclusive excellence plans. We have equitable practices where it's not just equal, but it's equality, recognizing those who have been disadvantaged and those who have been advantaged so that we can make it possible for everyone to feel included and part of this campus and culture. And then we want those policies to be codified so that, again, it becomes part of who we are. And then we want to recruit faculty and staff to increase the diversity at WPI. Our students need to see folks that look like them, whether you're male or female, whether you're cisgender or you know, you want to be able to see black, white, brown. You have to be able to see people who represent who you are, because that's part of what makes it possible for people to aspire for more and aspire to greater. And so we want to make sure that we are doing that in all of our search and talent and working with our community to have representation. So the milestones for the first year, part of this has been to bring all of these ideas, goals, action plans together so that we can show that and make it visible so that it can live for our campus. And part of that is a tool. I mean, this is WPI after all. And then part of that is having a really robust communication plan so that everyone knows what's going on. Chris and I received an email just this afternoon saying, what's the plan to communicate? And if people are asking that question, then that means we have more work to do because we want everybody to know what's going on. And then a strategy for connecting those DEI goals to our performance reviews. This is coming down the pike. But understand that if we want everyone to have DEI at the center of who they are, and I would include belonging and justice as well, then we have to measure for that, right? It's one thing to say that's what we want, but then we want to put that in action. And so that's part of this as well. So what we want to be able to show, I understand the Pat Sajak to Chris's Vanna White. Something seems wrong about that somehow. But we want to share with you, and just like we got to see the video for the first time, this is the first live launch of our website. You can ooh and ah if you're in the audience. I didn't remember to create that applause card, right? But what you see is our goals across this initiative, right? There's an inclusive campus, culture and service of students, innovation and equity, the teaching, research, and scholarship. That's the second goal. The third goal is STEM access and retention. The fourth goal is diverse talent strategies. And what's so great about this website that you can find at the hub/SIE is that under each of these goals, you will see each division or department has developed then their own action plans, and they're lovely, color-coded. Thank you so much to marketing, who has made something visually attractive that you will want to look at. And if you then want to find out what's happening in your own school, not that we would pick on the business school, because Chris and I, of course, are in the business school, but if you look at then the goals, you can see exactly what the actions, the tactics are under each goal for each division, each department, and where they're going. There's or what the status is. We have a dashboard there so you can see in the business school, for example, increase ethics, values, social justice, and emphasis in the curriculum. We're working with our teaching policy committee in the business school, and we have that work that's going on, and you can see that it's in progress because of the icon and the words. And you can see when we started and when we intend to complete. And some of these goals are ongoing, and you'll see that too. So if you're interested, then you can go to your school, your department, your division, and see exactly what's happening. And our inclusion partners, like I said, have been amazing, because on top of everything else that they do for WPI, they've added this initiative as well. And they are kind of holding court for each of our divisions and our schools to make sure that this lives. Because as I said, it's not a mandate from top down. We're trying to embed this in every aspect and part of WPI to make a difference for our community.
I am now going to introduce our inclusive culture team with James DeLeon and Arna Garrity as our leads.
That's a tough act to follow. I'll do my best. Thank you. We are the Inclusive Culture team, and some of you are actually here. These are the members of our team. We have a very good team. It's an eclectic bunch. We have members from IT, from marketing, from the deans of students. It's a lot of institutional knowledge, and these are very hardworking people. So, let's see. This is a picture of us that we took earlier last week. This was our 7th attempt. And if you notice, I'm the only one who's not smiling because I took the picture. We did our best. But these are some members of our teams, and you probably know a few of these people. These are some of your peers, so if you see them around, you say hello, and some of them are actually here. So what are our goals? In the Inclusive Culture team, we want to drive a more explicit engagement within our values. And I know, Rachel, you actually mentioned our values earlier today. We want people to not only understand what our values are, but also embody those values. To really reward behavior that actually translates to those values. So that's really the main goal of what the Inclusive Culture team. In order to do this, we will be regularly taking the pulse of our employees in terms of how well they're living our values, and we are working on some plans to actually reward those behaviors as well. Our second goal is in terms of professional development. So we want to invest in professional development, well-being, job satisfaction of the employees, the faculty and staff. And in order to do this, we want to create a more inclusive shared governance, including the creation of a staff council to expand the voices of our staff. And I know a lot of people have already expressed interest in the staff council. Just do know that that is coming, and we hear you. Now, what have we been doing this year? With that, I will pass it on to Arna, who is...
So obviously we have been extremely busy, even more busy than the other team. So changing the culture of an institution or impacting them takes time. It's not that we can flip a switch and all of a sudden everything is different. And the first step towards impacting your culture is understanding your culture. So we are working on a survey which will go out to all members of our community to take the pulse, take the temperature. What are we actually thinking about our institution in terms of culture, communication, and our interactions with each other? And based upon that survey, we will then propose actions that allow us to address issues that are being identified in the course of this survey. And that will be happening hopefully throughout year 2. We are fairly far along with the survey. Will probably go out at the beginning of the next academic year, and then throughout the academic year we will work on proposals how to impact our culture. The one part we are really far along, and that was for me the most important aspect we needed to address in year 1, is the staff council. We have obviously at WPI a faculty governance system that represents faculty, but we don't have anything equivalent at the staff level. And we have heard from many staff members that that is a real problem because your voices are not being heard, and that has to be changed. And we have developed a framework a general framework for a staff council, because it should not be a group of whatever 12 people who have been selected by whatever means to develop a handbook for a staff council. It should be developed by the staff itself. And so what we are working on right now is to establish a framework under which a staff council can constitute itself and then get to work on determining what kind of subcommittees are needed, how do we do elections, and so on and so forth. We will identify in the next weeks a general procedure how to assemble that first staff council, which will probably have some election component to it. And then we hope that the staff council will constitute itself at some point throughout the summer. And the goal is then, the charge for the staff council will be to start immediately to work on the handbook, to get that ready as soon as possible so that we can get to work and have a more inclusive approach to how decisions at WPI are being made. And I think that was our last slide.
Thank you very much. I will just quickly, in closing, remind you that every division and school is represented on the committees and the teams that are working on the know someone who is working on the implementation teams for the strategic plan, and please find out who they are, reach out to them, connect with them, stay engaged. We will have a poster session with all of the teams presenting their work after the town hall on April 12th. And then there'll be more opportunities on April 20th and the 27th to hear from the other teams within those other two themes that we have. And we have a lovely website where we will continue to update content as new content becomes available, including this presentation. And you can always contact us at leadwithpurpose@wpi.edu.